Okay, well, please welcome House Speaker Richard Corcoran. Thank you for your time.
A pleasure to be here.
So when you have companies like Digital Domain and Red Pine Services that get a lot of upfront money and then just vanish, that's what you're going after.
Absolutely. Our issue with corporate welfare, and that's what it is really threefold. The first thing is, why is government in the free market space competing against businesses and picking winners or losers? That's de facto socialism. That's government saying they know better than the marketplace, they know better than the business community, and they can go in there and they can engineer success. The second part was, even if you believe that, which we don't, but even if you believe that, their success is a rampant failure. Whether it's Digital Domain, Sanford Burnham, Torrey Pines, just list them out. 70% of all of these endeavors are abject waste of taxpayer monies and abject failures. And that's money that could go to education, police officers, tax cuts, all the things that would really have an impact on our society.
Governor Scott would say you need a strong tax base to bring in the revenue we need. You get that strong tax base by, among other things, promoting the state and helping the tourism industry. Why not invest more, therefore, in Visit Florida to help more people know about what we have here?
Again, it's first, should government, should hardworking taxpayers, should I reach into your pocket, take money out of your pocket and give it to Fortune 500 companies to advertise for themselves? We don't believe that should be the case. But to the extent that someone wants to make the argument that this is something that helps us and we get in more revenue, let's look at the facts. Let's look at when we increased money for Visit Florida and tourism went down. Let's look at years where we decreased money for Visit Florida and tourism went up. There's no correlation between what we're spending and what we're getting in return. And so those are, again, we're talking just in the last 5 or 6 years, it went from $25 million to $80 million. And that's an increase of 200% of money that could go to classrooms, could go to helping seniors, could go to tax cuts, all the things that we know work. What we need in our tax system is fairness. And when you do a cross-the-board tax cut, whether it's a sales tax reduction, a property tax reduction, everyone has the opportunity to benefit from that. Not just an elite, few, insider, huge, giant corporations. That's the big difference.
So the governor and Republican leaders have a long run on shrinking the size of government. So explain to me why the size of government keeps going up, up, and up in the state of Florida from, what was it, $69 million, the governor's first budget, up to around 84 million today.
Yeah, billion.
Billion.
Yeah, billion. Yeah, and so that's the question we're asking in the House. Why is it? If you were to ask the public and come in and say, hey, look how the Republicans spend money and look how the Democrats spend money, and show them our budgets and say which one was the Republican budget, which one was the Democratic budget, you can't discern a difference. But both parties spend money like drunken sailors. And so what we're trying to say in the House is it's time to peel that back. And so much of it is on pork barrel politics. That's why we implemented rules that said, if you want to try to put pork in the budget, you got to put your name on it, you got to own it, you got to give us answers to 37 questions. And you have to file that bill at the beginning of session. You can't give it to us on a napkin late in session at the midnight hours and say, slip this into the budget. Those days we're going to end.
Governor, Republican leaders have also run on cutting taxes. So explain to me why people's property tax bills keep going up, up, and up.
Well, a year ago, what we did is we cut people's property taxes, $30-some per household. We had a press conference afterwards in the rotunda, and we said, you know what, we're not going to allow your property taxes to go up to fund public education, and so we did a $400 and some million tax cut to protect people's homeowners. This year, the budget that the governor just unveiled is a $570 million property tax increase. And last year we took credit for it with the governor, and he was with us. This year, I'm not sure why that's in his budget. I think that'll get corrected. But I can, we've said it over and over in the House. We're not raising people's property taxes. Not today, not ever. We're not raising people's taxes, period.
Legislature controls the purse strings. How much money will Visit Florida get this year?
In the House budget, I think that they're in trouble. In the House budget,
Zero? Trouble isn't zero.
In the House budget. I mean, obviously, we got to deal with the Senate. The Senate's been very supportive of the concept of spending that money for advertising for corporations, and we'll see where it gets us. I mean, but there's always, there's 40 senators, there's 120 House members, so it's a difficult process where you have the give and take and going back and forth. But I would hope at the end of the day that we would take tens of millions of dollars, if not all of that money, and spend it on stuff that we know impacts people's lives, like giving their kids an opportunity at a world-class education.
Speaker Corcoran, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.